welcome back to Richard's RCs. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at the brand new toy that I've just bought myself, which is this is the FTX Crossbow. So without further ado, let's just get on into it and let's have a look inside it. So the great thing you find with FTX as a brand is these come 99% ready to run. You see the specs on the side here. You get a balance charger with this. This is a brushless motor, 3652, 2500 kV, aluminium oil filled shocks, sealed drivetrain with slipper unit, LED light bar, high ground clearance, front and rear aluminium chassis skid plates, and a waterproof 60 amp brushless speed controller. This is a Hobbywing speed controller in this one. Okay, so in the box you get your manual, and there is a set of Allen keys in there. You've got the plugs here for your charger. That's your charger there. This will charge 2 and 3S LiPo. There's also a spare bag of servo arms by the looks of it there. Not quite sure why you would need spare arms unless this is prone to stripping them. Inside here we have the transmitter. So this is the e-tronics pulse transmitter. Foam grip on the wheel there. Quite a nice feeling transmitter. It's a bit bulky for what I use, but we're going to try it with that anyway. You also get a battery with this as well in its own LiPo charge sack. This is a 3S LiPo. Hard case as well. This is the 3500 3S. It's only a 30C, so you might not get that much punch with something like this, but as a starter battery, perfectly fine. So without further ado, I think it's time to get the car out. And here it is. I went for the green version of this one. Very familiar looking tread pattern here that you would usually find with something like a Proline. Same as the wheels, look very Proline like. Let's take a look inside. On the body you will find there's some bracing on here. So you've got those just to try and help it stop it cracking in certain places. You've got skid rails at the top, and there is another brace along the back here. There's also what looks like a shock tower protection at the top there, and your spoiler there. Right. See inside there you've got a connection for your light bar there. So up front here we've got pillar ball suspension with your universal drive shafts at the front. Oil filled shocks obviously. You'll find with this is probably the collars are going to need winding down because it sits quite low. So we'll look at that later on. These are also looking a little bit sort of loose when you sort of pick it up. There's a bit of movement in there. So wind those collars down. That's your brushless motor there with the heatsink. Your Hobbywing 60 amp ESC that has a Dean's plug on it. Receiver box, and then you've got the servo. The servos on these are only 6 kilo. You're probably going to find that's going to be your first upgrade with something like this. It's just going to be just a little bit weak for something of this size. You've got a top brace along the top here. Obviously your battery straps. And you've got a clear spur cover here, so you can have a look in there, see if there's any sort of problems that you might have. At the back again, we've just got adjustable links, obviously your shocks. These are just dog bone drive shafts at the back. Again, it just droops just a little bit. You can get your hand under there, so just as a reference of how low it is. But really, it wants to be sitting just a little bit higher. So as a beginner, just getting into the hobby, if this is something you're going to be looking for, there's going to be a couple of things I'm going to point out to you that I would personally recommend if you're going to stay in this hobby, especially things like these chargers and the tools that you get with these. There's a few things on the market out there for just a little bit extra money that's just better than something like this. So when it comes to chargers, rather than using something like this and you are going to stay in the hobby, I would definitely recommend that you just invest just a little bit extra money and get yourself a decent charger. Now the reason why I say get a decent charger is because of the charge rates on these. Let's see if we can see that. If we just look in there, that 0.3 amps there. To charge the battery that this comes with, it's probably going to take a couple of hours. Using something like these, you're going to have it charged within about 30 minutes. Something like the iMax V6 that we have here, you can pick these up for around £20 maybe. The Sky RC one, which is the one I tend to use a bit more nowadays, you're probably going to be looking, I think these are around £30–35 now. The difference with these is you can charge these at the rate that the battery's going to be. So these come with a 3500 milliamp hour battery, so you can charge that at 3.5 amps. Again, charging it with something like these is going to take around probably 30–40 minutes. Something else I definitely recommend that you get yourself as well, if you're going to stay in this hobby, get yourself some decent tools. FTX obviously provides you with a bag of Allen keys there. There's only 2, so that's probably going to be, that looks like a 3mm and maybe a 2. To do the work that you're going to need to do on this, that is not going to cut it. Get yourself a decent driver and some decent hex bits. It will save you rounding off anything that's on these trucks. That's about it for the quick look for this video with the FTX Crossbow, and also giving you a bit of insight to a couple of things that you can buy if you're looking to stay in this hobby with battery chargers and tools, just to make things just a little bit easier for yourself personally. If you're not into a truggy, there is a couple of other cars that's on exactly the same platform as this. You could look at the FTX Apache, which I'll put in a picture here. That's a short course truck. You've also got the FTX Ram Raider. Again, it's on the same platform, but the screws are a little bit different on the Ram Raider, where they are actual screws rather than hex heads. Again, there's going to be a picture over here for you to see. That's more of a monster truck. Personally, I like the truggy, and that's what I've gone for. Instead of going for the blue as well, I thought the green and the black was just a little bit meaner, if you like. Next one we're going to be doing with this, we're going to be out with SY55 LEG RC. There's going to be a link in the bottom to his channel. Please go over there, have a watch of his content, give him a like and a subscribe if you can, please. We're going to be out at a place called Hill End with this. There's going to be a Kyosho Mad Van, and I'm also going to be taking probably my FMS FCX10, and he's going to be taking his FTX Texan, and that's going to be in the next one. Thanks very much for watching now. Cheers.